Beware of the blob, it creeps and leaps and glides and slides across the floor, right through the door and all around the wall. A splotch, a blotch, be careful of the blob.
Yeah, asshole. Hello, welcome to Just Another Horror Podcast. I'm John.
Oh, I'm Ben.
Anybody.
Cobra.
Today we're reviewing the Blob remake from 1988. Okay. I didn't want to go out on a limb there. Which one of you guys? It was you, right?
Yeah, I threw it out there.
Alright, then tell us what it's about.
Side by side with The Thing, like Carpenter's remake of The Thing. Like, they took a movie from the 50s and they made it better. And so, there was a movie in the 50s starring Steve McQueen, I think, called The Blob. And I've never seen it.
You asshole.
I've
That's why I
never.
hate cats.
Have you ever seen the original?
I have, yep.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
I have not.
So, I think I wrote down who directed this.
Chuck Russell.
Yep.
Chuck Russell, who
Dream
Chuck Russell.
Warriors.
Directed Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, and he likes to team up with Frank Darabont. And
Oh, that's why these guys were running rampant through here.
yeah,
Okay.
Jeffrey
so
Mm-hmm.
this is a remake of that 1950s, but they're still same title, The Blob. It's basically something from outer space comes crashing down to Earth, and it's this, I don't know, what would you call it? Just goo.
Gelatinous goo.
It was surprisingly not green for a 1980s movie.
Yeah, and it basically starts out small, and the more it eats, it just continues to grow. And it's very 80s trope of this small town that's just completely cut off from the rest of the world. Like
That has a full military base on it.
yeah. So
Don't they all?
it starts eating town folk and growing, and the military comes in. This pesky military trying to weaponize everything, and it's the town folk trying to Kevin Dillon trying to figure out how to beat the Blob, kill it.
No, is Kevin Dillon Matt
The,
Dillon?
Yeah.
Who?
Matt Dillon's brother?
Yes.
And he is.
Okay.
I like Kevin Bacon's ugly, but Kevin Dillon is so ugly.
Yeah, Kevin Dillon looks like Matt Dillon if Matt Dillon did meth for quite a while. But I love Kevin Dillon. If anybody's not that I was a huge fan, but I used to watch Entourage a lot, and he plays himself, basically this washed-up actor whose younger brother was much more successful. And
Sounds about
that's
right.
his life. And
Is
that's
he
why,
older than Matt?
Yeah, I believe so.
Really?
Yeah.
I always thought Matt was older.
You might be right, actually, because Kevin Dillon played in Platoon, and Matt Dillon was starring in movies in the 70s, I think, late 70s.
He was in There's Something About Mary.
And Wild Things.
Yeah, he
I got
was.
this guy at work who he laughs like Matt Dillon does in Something About Mary. And, like, I fucking crack up every time I can hear him. He's a couple cubicles over, and he has that when Cameron Diaz says something about she doesn't need Brett Favre. She has her vibrator, and Matt Dillon's eavesdropping, and he does that, like, giggle, and this guy does it. It's really fun. Never mind.
But Kevin Dillon, his brother.
Kevin Dillon's fantastic. He has a great mullet.
Shawnee Smith is in this.
Yeah, Shawnee Smith. Was she a scream queen?
I think she was like a low level.
Is
screen
she
level.
attractive? Because I just am not feeling it.
No.
Is she, like, good light, bad light? Some shots
feel
she's
like-
ooh, and then other shots is like, nah.
I don't know. It
Do-
was
Do
mostly.
women really like it when you go, ooh?
It was mostly no. Shawnee Smith gets 2 thumbs down.
I just feel like she has this following now of, like, she was some scream queen in the 80s, and I
just
don't
know
remember
the
her.
She
She's
was
in
in
teen movies. In
Summer
the 80s.
School.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love Summer School.
That's a great movie. We should review that for a fun time in the summer.
They do have a screening of
Yeah,
Texas
David
Chainsaw.
Chainsaw, yeah. They got some horror elements in there. And I know, John, you love Kirstie Alley. Look Who's Talking was
The
your
fuck?
favorite movie.
So, was this This was your first time watching this
This
movie?
was my first time, yep.
Yeah, what'd you think of it? Well, we're not giving ratings, but...
You know, it was better than I expected it to be.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What were you expecting?
I was expecting
Just the concept, the Blob? Come
a
on.
mediocre,
Yeah.
with just not very good stuff.
Did you get a Killer Clowns from Outer Space vibe from this?
A little bit.
Yeah, something comes down from space.
They even had like one of the same scenes, like not Elliot was Farmer Dog or Farmer Tom and his dog
Blueberry
instead of
or whatever his name was. Blueberry?
That's right.
Blueberry?
That's right. Boo's like something like that.
Yeah,
same
it
thing.
had that other 80s trope of there's always one bum that lives in one homeless
And he
person
always
lives
has
in
a
town.
dog with some stupid name.
And he hangs out and watches kids ride their dirt bikes, I guess.
How about Kevin Dillon just ditching that thing? Couldn't make that jump. I knew later he was gonna make a jump.
I don't want to let him back down here.
I'll kick him if
pain
you
in
want
the
me
ass.
to.
Was this your first time watching this, John?
Yes, it was. I've
Oh,
seen
really?
the original though, so
Okay.
this was pretty much the same thing. It was a little bit more conservative in the 50s. There was no talk of sex or anything
Yeah.
like that in that movie, but
How much did the movie theater play a role in the original?
not really.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
I know it's a famous thing.
Yeah, it's a very famous thing where it's like the Blob from the 50s. I feel like they think the whole movie takes place in the movie theater.
It takes place for like the Blob just gets in. It's basically like this one. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just
Okay.
there for a minute, and then I've been in that theater, and it was nothing special. So
Was the film in the Guthrie? Because I've been there too.
I don't know how to respond to that. Yes, no, maybe. Kind
Just
of.
say no and we'll move
Yeah,
on.
small single screen theater.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same size.
I thought you said you were in that theater.
Was it filmed around here?
It was filmed on the other side of the state. The original.
Tell me you didn't go out there solely to go to this.
No.
Okay.
I was going to something much more geekier,
Okay.
angry video game nerd thing.
Nerd alert!
Yeah. If people want to donate money to the show to hear that story, go for it.
Yeah, right.
I think
We'll
he's
tell
cutting you
stupid
off.
stories about ourselves.
I think he doesn't want to hear it right now.
This movie opens up, you're getting shots of the town. I feel like all 80s
Think snow.
towns, yeah, all 80s towns feel the same, look the same in all these types of movies. But yeah, we're getting signs of this town is dying. It relies on tourism for their hills, their mountains to ski on.
I will be honest, I didn't get any of that.
Really? There's signs in the windows saying like think snow and
Yeah, it was like it reminded me of
60%.
Snow Beast. It was like a resort town. Like,
yeah, 60% off of all
So it's
ski
like a
equipment.
mix between
and-
Jaws and Snow Beast. Yeah, okay, I gotcha.
White Jaws.
My God, they mentioned
Oh,
half
that
the
town,
time.
too.
They mentioned throughout this whole movie, it's 70 degrees out there. It's sweltering.
And it's an Indian winter, I guess they say.
Well,
You're an
we
Indian
get a
summer.
There's-
Ouch, another sick burn by Cobra.
Yeah, I still got it.
there's a line that it's I think October.
Mhm.
That makes me think of that one terrible movie we watched, Stay Alive.
October!
So we get after the opening shots of the town, we get to a football stadium which overlooks a cemetery. Did you notice that?
Awesome.
That's nice.
We see the jocks. Again, another 80s trope of this class warfare that goes on in these small towns. You're born on the other side of the tracks, kind of poor. Kevin Dillon's the bad boy greaser. Shawnee
Okay.
Smith's the
I wonder where
Upper-
he's going with that. At
Yeah,
first.
I know.
Shawnee Smith's the upper middle class cheerleader. The football jocks
A football joke. Yeah.
all wonder.
Kevin Dillon,
Yeah, his name's Brian Flagg.
Brian Flagg.
Randall Flagg.
You can't
Did you know
spell
that?
flag without fag.
Did you know that?
Great job.
Darabont put
No, he
all
licks that
kind
guy's
of
mouth later.
Darabont put Stephen King references throughout this movie.
I did notice that.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Randall Flagg. Flag right here. Look, flag, all capitals.
Okay. What were you saying about Kevin Dillon?
He takes 2 puffs of a cigarette before he's about to make this jump, and then he throws it.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
I feel like this bridge that's cut off from the it's middle section of this bridge. It's a collapsed bridge.
How is he gonna jump this?
Is it imperative he jumps it?
Why
is there
is he
another way out of town?
Okay. What? One of 2 reasons. Why would you jump this bridge? Why would you jump this bridge?
I was drunk,
Well,
He's not drunk.
but I don't have a reason. That's
Why would
asked
you
me.
jump this bridge?
Well,
to
I mean,
impress someone? There's no one around but
The
a
bum.
bomb.
The bum's like, yeah.
well, he
Yeah,
didn't
after he ditches it.
he didn't know the bum was there.
See, like, why is he trying to do
I
this?
have no idea.
There is no good end result of him trying to make this jump.
I think it's he can accomplish something. I don't know. We get his mom's a drunk and sleeps around and never in town.
Dad's gone.
The
Right?
dad's gone.
Probably in prison.
Are we supposed to believe the sheriff is always kind of basically always looking at him, following him around? We get the idea he's had a couple run-ins with the law because the sheriff says, "Oh, it's your birthday
That's
coming
right.
up. Next time you screw up, you're in the big league." Are we
He
supposed to
does
believe
keep
Kevin
it
Dillon's 17 years old?
Yeah, he's about to be 18.
He does not. No, it doesn't work.
Does he go to the school? Like, you never see him at the school, do you?
Well, we don't really see anybody going to school.
Is there any school
Does
scenes?
this take place over a weekend? I assume Friday night. There's a football game at the very beginning. That's probably a Friday.
It takes place over one day, I think.
Is it one day, 24,
Mhm.
36 hours?
Because the
Somewhere
football
there?
player
Oh,
goes on the
really?
date that day. The football game is in the daytime.
Yeah, they used to have
Is
ass.
it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Slipper Rock used to have their football games were at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon right after school.
High school?
Yeah. Abs used to tell us stories.
But this is 80s.
Yeah, it was in the 80s.
Well, the game is in the afternoon. They go on the date that night. They run into the hitchhiker, end up at the hospital, police station. He gets out of the police station and meets the girl. Same night. It's all the same night.
Yeah, because the sheriff, he's hitting on the waitress or the owner of the diner. She says, I get off at 11.
Yep.
Yeah, it is over one night.
Did the flaming ball fly across the sky yet?
No, not yet, but we can start there.
Well, I think we're about... Actually,
There's the drugstore thing.
Oh,
The
yeah,
friend
did you,
goes into the
Did you like
drugstore,
that
yeah.
scene with
That
the two jocks?
setup was awesome.
Yeah, the two
Yeah.
jocks trying to buy, one's trying to buy condoms, basically. Condoms of Anaka will apparently get you laid.
Yeah.
Um,
All you have to do is
back
be
in
like,
the 80s.
see, I will put something on my penis when I put it in you. See?
we get the pharmacist is...
AIDS was a big thing back in the 80s. You had to wrap it up.
Yeah, I guess 88 would have been...
83 was
And
like
yet,
the
for
start
some
of it,
reason, the
actually.
people in this are like, they're getting condoms. The fuck's wrong with them?
That's because
Well,
they're in high school and not married, because that priest came and that priest looked like
that priest is
he
kind of
touched-
creepy.
He
looking.
looked like he
Yeah,
touched
for
people.
sure. For sure.
Pedophile. I'm gonna say it. That priest looked like a pedophile.
Yeah, I have here very creepy reverend. Is he a reverend?
Reverend, yeah.
Why is he
He's
wearing the
a
Catholic collar?
I don't know. Maybe they just call him that.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that scene was pretty good with the buying the condoms and.
He doesn't need condoms. He needs a muzzle.
Oh yeah, the grumpy dad, basically, Shawnee Smith's dad. I didn't write down names. Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Paul's the possible love interest of Shawnee Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He's a
Yeah.
wide receiver in the football team.
So
Meg is her name.
It seems like we have our lead at this point. At
It
least
does.
It seemed like we did. But
reference to Psycho coming up.
as it turns out, like almost nobody is safe in this movie.
We get Meg's younger brother, who I feel like was All of Us, where you're trying to see
Sneak into
horror
a horror
films
movie,
or
yeah.
sneak into
that
movies.
one little blonde kid,
Which one? The friend or Meg's brother?
Meg's brother,
Okay.
was the kid from Return of the Living Dead 2 that we did not like.
That's right.
That little
Oh,
annoying
really?
kid.
I knew he looked familiar.
It did look familiar. He's the one that initially finds the drums in that.
Mhm.
Okay. We get a made-up slasher film, Garden Tool Massacre, which
I like this part.
I would totally go see that if
Oh, hell
they
yeah.
made one.
Yeah.
Which they also. Oh, I get the dad saying ribbed because he sees Paul show up and he thinks Paul bought the condoms to go out on a date,
But it was Scott.
and Paul shows up to take his daughter out. So grumpy dad is.
I thought it was a great payoff. So, but I don't know. Okay, that for me is the high point of the movie.
Wow, you didn't like this movie?
Mm,
All right.
Hey, fuck you.
okay.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice, clean 80s movie.
It was very, what do you call it? Efficient. It was an efficient movie.
Yeah, so what's the matter with that?
It's fine.
So it's night now, it's dark.
You're a Debbie
We
Downer.
see the meteor something falling
Yeah,
from
I'm eating
space
this.
right in front of the homeless guy who has a little encampment set up outside of town, who apparently sole income is recycling cans.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
That's all he does.
Throws them in a thing, yep.
What was that? We you get 5 cents a can back in the day, 88.
I feel like he was living in a junkyard, this guy.
Would have been.
Uh,
I feel like he's a bum in another movie.
you're thinking Back to the Future.
I don't watch Back to the Future.
That's a good movie.
I can't imagine.
Let's get back to Kevin Dillon, whose motorcycle is wrecked because he couldn't make the jump across this bridge. And he went and borrowed some tools, a 12-piece socket set, which will apparently fix his motorcycle.
He works for this guy, doesn't he?
And yeah, I think he does like odd
Kinda.
jobs. Kind of comes and goes whenever he wants. Makes his own hours.
As a hood rat
I
would.
wish I could do that. Make my own hours. But
But he's in high school, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess so. He works basically for a garage that fixes snowmobiles and snowmaking machines, I think. So that night he's out in the woods trying to fix his motorcycle with no light. I don't know how
Yeah,
he's
that's
doing
what.
that.
Why would you go out in the middle of the nighttime and try to fix your bike?
And this is about the time the meteor falls. The homeless guy goes to investigate.
He starts poking it with a stick.
Wouldn't you though?
No.
Well,
It looks radioactive.
when it grabs onto the stick, at that point you run away.
Did you like that it just... I felt like it was only a chunk of it
Mm.
jumped out of the meteor onto his arm.
Mm.
But that grows throughout the movie. What happened to the rest of the stuff that was in the...
If that shit grows, it's gonna eat the whole fucking planet.
What?
There's a lot there.
What part does the priest get? He just has a little snippet later on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has a tiny piece of it in a container.
Yeah, he finds that it freezes
And when they freeze, they turn into like
cubes.
gems. Though they look gemmy.
Yeah, it's a big purple pinkish looking cube
Okay.
of sugar, basically.
This blob grabs onto the homeless guy's hand.
We call him a bum.
Homeless bum's hand.
We used to
Just
have
a
a...
bum.
Just bum.
Do you remember the homeless guy that used to live in our hometown?
In Harrisville?
Yeah.
Who was he?
We always called him Speedy.
He would walk fast?
Yeah.
Where did he hang out at a lot?
He was all over town.
Okay.
He sat on my front porch one time. It was probably about...
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. I was home alone, and I remember looking out the front window, and there's this old bum just sitting on my steps like he was taking a break. And I remember it scaring me, but we had a lot of guns in the house, and I went and grabbed a gun, and I kind of stood in the window and showed him.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't point
You're
it
so
at him.
Asshole.
And because I tapped on the window and was like telling him to leave, and he was shaking his head like, no, man, I'm just sitting here.
He's like, fuck you. And
Now I probably would have opened the door and been like, you want a sandwich? I'll go make you something. And you need a new blanket or...
And then he probably would have killed you and murdered you, and we would have had the start of a horror movie.
No.
Bum goes wild. You ever see The Hitcher? Don't trust bums. Hobo with a shotgun.
So-
Don't
Fuck
trust
no.
bums.
Stay away from that.
Anyways, that's my story of our local bum in the 80s. Apparently it was a thing back then.
Damn. I know there was the woman that walked around town and got cans out of every garbage can in town.
In Harrisville?
Yeah.
Did she
Kathy.
wear a
I
beanie
think her
cap?
name was Kathy, yeah.
I've seen the guy that travels, he lives by the car dealership on 58. The guy in overalls. You ever
Mhm.
see that guy walking up and down the road?
It's terrifying.
He scared the shit out of me. I was pumping gas and sheets, and one day he came up behind me, just dove into a trash can basically, and was like ripping through, picking out bottles and shit.
So, that's Steven Dwarf. No. Ryan Phillippe in that movie we just watched. He's
Yeah.
a dumpster diver.
Oh,
He just goes and
Jesus
rummages
Christ.
through all their shit. What was that movie?
I don't remember. You described it to me.
What, Wish Upon.
Okay.
Oh, that's don't watch Wish Upon. That movie is terrible.
So the bum is attacked.
And,
Paul and Meg are out on their date.
and Kevin Dillon, Brian chases the bum into the street where he gets hit by a car, which is driven by
Paul.
Paul. Yeah.
They take him to the hospital.
Here's where I have. In the 80s, they were a lot kinder. They took you to the hospital. In the 90s, like I know what you did last summer, they
took
try
you
to
in the
dispose of
water.
the body and throw you in the ocean.
That's a good it's a nice little time capsule of 10 years can make.
A generation gap.
Take him to the hospital, and immediately we get a slightly political where the nurse goes, does he have Blue Cross? Not, I'm going to help this person. It's, what can insurance do for him?
What a great place to make a statement. The Blob.
Remake.
Yeah, the second Blob.
So, Kevin Dillon's character, Brian Flagg, he leaves the hospital because he's pissed at the nurse. And Meg and Paul are waiting to see what happens to the homeless guy they hit. I love Jack Nance, plays the doctor. Good stuff.
Oh yeah, he's real upset because he's busy with another patient. They're
Yeah,
like, he's
I'm with
dying
another
in here.
This hospital is as abandoned as Halloween Part 2. This is where we see is this the first real blob attack? And it's grown huge by
Well,
now. Exponentially.
Eviscerates
I have a
part
vagina ate Paul.
The
That's basically what happened.
Well, before Paul dies, he
Oh, yeah.
eviscerates the homeless guy. Like half of his body is all like
So this,
acid.
yeah, I was gonna say it's
washed
basically body.
Melts the body.
And this is what about where Paul gets killed off pretty quick.
Yeah, he's
We
on
think
the
he
phone.
might be the Did you really think though
I thought
he was
might
going to
be
be the
lead.
hero?
I
Yeah,
wasn't sure. Like,
I
I
thought
guess
he was gonna be.
introducing the guy on the bike by himself might get you like a three people.
Yeah. Maybe I've just.
Like the class, you were talking about the classes. The classes get together and work together.
I feel like that would be today's movie if they made this today, where you'd have the 3 survivors.
They better, or somebody would be fucking pissed.
But Paul gets killed. I thought
Way too early.
some of the deaths they looked really good.
His arm comes right off, like he's trying to stretch out through the blob, but it's pulling him backwards.
And Shawnee Smith's pulling on his arm, and it just eats away enough that it just pops right out of that.
And somehow the cops think that
Brian did it.
Brian did this somehow.
I have squatted a hornball.
Some people stand in the darkness, afraid to step into the light.
I have nothing like a
There we
little
go.
sexual harassment / rape in the 80s.
Erica Elniak.
Erica Eleniak.
I
Yeah,
should-
that's one
I
of
can't
my,
pronounce his name.
One of my fun facts at the end of this movie.
What happened?
2 Playboy Playmates are in this movie. Was that?
No.
That was uncomfortable, that scene.
Mm-hmm.
He grabbed.
Listen. I don't know how I can say it.
Can it be said?
What I'm about to say. It's got. No, it sounds so bad. In my head, it sounds terrible. I probably shouldn't say.
Go
For
ahead.
movie
We can.
purposes' sake, if you're gonna undress somebody, you don't need to talk to her about it when she's passed out. Just do it. That's what made it so awkward. He's having a conversation
That's
with
what
her.
made it awkward.
Well, I could have made it less awkward. That's why I was trying to say this without it sounding not.
That's what
good.
made it so creepy.
Yeah, he's having a conversation with a passed out woman while he's unbuttoning her. He's like, "Oh, you're
He pops one off
unbutton
first.
my top."
He's seeing
It's
if there's
still
a reaction
uncomfortable.
from
Is
her.
it still uncomfortable? Let me just get this second button for you. Like,
I don't think
that's
he totally.
gross.
I don't think he totally believed she was passed out. He was seeing how far he could go before she reacted, and then once he realized, like, meh, he just reached over and he cups that thing, like.
I don't know. I thought he knew she was passed out, and he was just being a dick even more. Like, hey, do you want me to unbutton? Oh, you're still uncomfortable.
Did
Just
you?
wait a second.
I did not write down, but now I'm thinking about it. What was the drink he made in the trunk?
I
What all
don't
did
know.
He throw in
Like,
that
I
drink?
thought at first
I just
that he
have
was
he has
making
a
a
love
rape drug,
drug.
and then
Was that like Hawaiian Punch and?
I don't know. He had a whole setup back there.
It's the love trunk, and I have no Scott. Rapers get blobbed, and he did.
You know, he gets his hand in there, and the blob comes out of her shirt, and eats
When
it.
did it just creep in when he was making the drink and
I think so.
take over her body? Because I have a question about that. 'cause
Yeah,
it's like,
because it would have melted her quicker than.
or like absorbed her, and she would have been like trying to get out of the pink blob.
Yeah.
So it became like a parasite, and went like into her mouth, and
Mm-hmm.
because she like got up and like,
Unless it like actively thought about what it was gonna do in that situation.
is the blob getting smarter?
I don't know. Like,
Not only is it getting
is the
bigger,
blob
it's
getting smarter, or the screenwriter's getting lazier?
Could be a combination of both.
All right, I'm taking too long to get through this. John, would you like to take it?
What's the matter? You got somewhere to be?
No,
well,
I just.
there's the RoboCop villain. One of them.
Nobody
the
like
gang.
RoboCop villain.
One of the RoboCop villains. Like
Run of the one of the
Let me
Robo.
speak in English here, please.
Can you talk?
One of the RoboCop villains, the gang in the very first RoboCop,
I'm
is
listening.
another cop in this movie.
The stash. The
Is
mustache.
it Ron
Mustache
Howard
guy.
cop?
Yes.
Yeah, Ron Howard. He does look like Ron Howard.
Discount Ron Howard cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He's rude.
really exercising authority here.
Yeah.
What you gonna do, Flag?
What'd you
Right
think
in his
of
face.
what's his face licking him on the face?
I have
Jesus.
flag equals fag. I was like, everybody enjoys a nice dip of Copenhagen, but you don't go into another dude's mouth to get it.
Did you like? What do you think of his mullet? Good job.
Kevin Dillon was an okay character by the end
There's
of
a
the
lot
movie. I liked him.
There was a lot of good character actors.
I didn't
in
think
this,
at any
movie.
point he seemed like a real rebel type. Like, it didn't really.
Nah.
It just looked like he was from a poor, broken
He
family.
was
and
poor. He rode a motorcycle. That's
Yeah,
it.
and he was been like a mechanic assistant since he was probably like 14, because that's what he knows, cars.
Yeah.
Well, the sheriff arrests him, and that's where we get they're
On
interrogating
suspicion
him.
of melting somebody and leaving just their arm behind.
He's a chemist.
But then the sheriff that was giving him such a hard time kind of even says, like, we don't have any evidence.
Yeah.
Like,
There's nothing.
let him
Jeffrey
go.
DeMoon.
And, DeMun.
I like to say DeMoon.
I think it's...
Okay. I call Ken Forey Ken Foray.
And, Shawnee Smith is not taking, like, she knows something's going on.
How does she know where he is?
Yeah, true.
He's just walking on a block from the cop station after he was released, and she just shows
I'm sure
up
it's
on
like
the
a
curb.
small town where you got three
Small town,
streets
it's
to
like
choose from.
Harrisville.
Yeah.
I have here, of course, she drives a bug. We see she has her own vehicle.
No, at least we know where we're set, the 1980s.
But Brian
It's not
Flagg's
the
hungry.
50s, or 60s, or 70s, or 80s, or 90s, or the 2000s.
Wow.
80s had a lot of the same 50s kind of ideas.
Imagination.
So it could be a combination of both.
You're a combination of nothing.
Brian Flagg is hungry,
Another sick burn by Cobra.
and he heads to the diner.
Oh yeah. they
I
gotta
like
get
the
food.
diner lady. What's her name?
Candy Smith is her real name?
I was looking for her actual movie name. But
no
that's
idea.
nice that you know that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Blob gets drawn the cook. No, that's
I have that clogged sink in the back is fucking gross, and he just put his hand down there. The busboy,
Yeah, if it's like
the
not,
33-year-old busboy.
I have his John the cook.
Whatever.
She's
still-
the waitress, he's the cook.
And that kitchen, that ain't meeting health codes. That's pretty dirty kitchen in the back. Would you eat anything made
I
back
mean, that's
there?
why you don't go to just random diners.
This was the 80s, and yeah,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
sure he doesn't cook with a hairnet or gloves or anything
No.
like that.
Also, is
the
this the only
chicken gets
place?
cut where the tomatoes get cut. It doesn't matter.
Is this the only place to eat in town? Cause
Probably.
okay,
If it's a small town, yep. And
Then
everybody loves their local diner.
she should be just rolling in the cash.
I'm sure she is. That's why
She
she's
might
gonna
be.
date the cop.
I don't
Because
know.
he's the next richest guy in town.
All right.
This is where I thought the movie got really good, because all the amount of blood that they used here, and I was like, oh, right, the effects might actually be better than what I... Like, in my head I was picturing, because I've seen, snippets of it, like,
yeah.
this pink blob just kind of crawling at people, and like, oh, this is going to be terrible. But this had nice cheese, this had good effects, for the time. This was much better than I thought it was going to be.
The blob attacks at the diner, kills the busboy / cook, pulls him
into the
through
drain.
some very small pipe.
His head getting sucked into that pipe looked really good.
Yep.
I don't know how they
There
did it.
were-
Probably just like cut frame, but it was
The,
way better
uh,
than CG sucking something.
The
Yeah.
practical effects are really good, but then you have
Some of the blob shots where it's
well, they're running down the hallway towards the freezer to try to get away from the blob. You see the blob, I guess, crawling along the ceiling. It was very green screen, and that didn't look good.
a few of the blob shots were not that great.
But yeah, the old cook there put his hand down the drain. Don't ever put your hand down the
Why
drain.
ever? No.
You know this thing.
You know he wouldn't have if he would have unclogged it and then went on to cook or whatever. He wouldn't have washed his hands.
No, he
just
probably
would
would
have
have thrown that in there with the rest of it.
This is where we had a moment where we could have that drain could have sucked the girl's shirt off.
Ah.
And we could have had
Ah.
our boo of the movie. I'm just saying, if
We
we wanted to
had-
get to that upper echelon of great, it
We
needed
had
to throw
two-
something in there.
Playboy Playmates, and we didn't utilize them. That's all I'm saying.
I think it's because
And one
this
had
movie is
been-
But he showed
One had been
in '87.
One had been
The
in
nurse.
Playboy in '86, so she'd already gone topless. So
But I'm saying that this movie had more of like a conservative tone to it. That's why.
a bit.
Yeah, there was that whole Russia thing here later that we're trying to get our defenses.
Right.
Oh, because
Better
the
than
Russians
that.
are so
The
far
blob.
ahead of the U.S. in blob
Yeah, we wa-
technology.
Yes, exactly. I was like, you're gonna try to get the blob. That makes
Yeah, I'm so far behind here.
throw it over in Moscow and let it eat.
I thought this might be the best kill. Is the diner owner escapes? She goes to the phone booth to try to call the sheriff.
He's at the diner.
He's at the diner. What did you
Then they
think?
show
Did you
him.
think it was kind of cheap to? We don't actually see his death. He's killed off screen.
No, I thought
Who
that was
is?
cool because
Jeffrey
like
DeMunn, the sheriff.
up until that point you think he's still alive.
Oh yeah, I did think.
And then
Because
it's
she
sort of
gets
revealed.
through, and the sheriff's office says he's down at the diner.
Yeah, he
and
went
then
to go see her, and you
and
don't know
then
he's
slams
dead
up
yet.
against the glass.
His body's in the blob, like the blob is covering the
I thought that was awesome.
phone booth. But when it busts through the phone booth, I thought that great.
Slams
Looked
her
good.
up against shit. Yeah, it was awesome.
Looked really good.
The blob over the phone booth is more exciting than anything that happened in the movie phone booth.
True.
Fact.
True. Absolutely true.
I never saw a phone booth.
That would be Bo Weaver's favorite movie.
John's
My
dad.
Oh. Did not know that.
Has he ever been to a podcast before?
He comes
How
and
many?
goes.
Your dad has been mentioned no less than 15 times in the podcast.
He liked Phone Booth. His favorite movie.
It's his favorite movie.
Does he watch a lot of movies?
Yeah.
What's
He's only seen 3, I assume.
Yeah.
Open Water, Phone Booth, and...
Lethal Weapon 2.
oh
5,000 times.
the Lethal Weapons are all on Netflix right now.
I love Lethal
I
Weapon.
gotta binge.
For that to be one of your favorite movies, and then Phone Booth be your favorite movie.
Lethal Weapon 2. I distinctly remember young Ben sees that hot blonde in that movie getting topless.
Oh yeah.
Left an impression in my mind.
What kind of an impression? A good
Oh.
one about titties?
It's like
Yeah,
a
good
mushroom-shaped impression, I think.
Speaking of that, in the office the other day, like, Dwight and Andy were competing for, like, the new girl in the office, and they both were, like, dancing with them. And and Dwight went over and took in front of Andy, and he's like, and I know that you had blood rushing to the tip of your penis, because I also felt the same thing.
I gotta do a rewatch on that show.
Oh, man, it's good.
The Reverend sees this attack. Does he play a huge part?
He just picks up
He
a piece
steals
of the
a little
blob,
piece
and you
of
don't
the
see him
blob.
again until the end.
Well,
Where he's off probably molesting children.
Brian and Meg hide out in the freezer, and the blob tries to crawl underneath the door, but as soon as it touches cold, it shrieks and
Yes.
leaves some sugar cubes behind that
At-
are pink.
At this point, you should know that cold really affects the blob, right?
Yeah.
You should know that.
Yeah.
It takes them a while to, like, try to... I know that they get kind of corralled by the militia or whatever it is.
The
scientists.
Romero-esque.
The,
Right
movie,
here.
the movie just kind of goes in a completely different direction all of a sudden.
We all radioactive suits. Total Romero
Mhm.
homage, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. From the Crazies.
That, and there was another movie called Contamination. That
Romero?
No, not
Oh,
by
okay.
Romero, but it was a different horror movie. It looked exactly like this whole scene.
I like the Crazies, the original. You like it? Anybody?
I only saw the remake.
I saw it on the big screen last year. So happy. The
The
Strand.
original?
Yeah, the Strand and Zilli played double feature at Creep Show and Crazies,
Oh,
Damn.
creep shit, that's good.
and Savini spoke for about a half hour.
Did he
after.
say about how cool his head explosions were in
Oh,
Maniac
he's-
and The Prowler?
I want to like him, but
He's a dick.
he's a
No,
dick.
He's a big douchebag.
Yeah.
He has a dick gun, though, from Dusk Till Dawn.
That's true.
Why do I have suddenly turns into E.T.?
Kevin Dillon has a hook. Nope. Is
What's
that
he
you?
gonna do with that hook, really?
I have a inspired Candyman, and I know what you did last summer.
Doesn't he use it to just knock over a can of beans, and then that's all that
Yeah,
happens with it?
That's all you need.
The can of beans tried to attack him.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do with a can of or a can of
Can of
hooks.
hooks.
Reese drops booze,
Oh yeah, he's got a flask. He
Yeah,
drops
he's
it.
a
He
plastic
picks up
trunk.
his little piece. Yeah.
and that's rare.
Where do you find the little flip top glass container? Is he just carrying that around in his pocket?
I don't want to know what's in the pockets of priests. I don't. Probably.
Is this when the government soldiers / government come in
Yes.
radioactive suits,
Helicopter.
and the head guy in charge starts telling a story about dinosaurs? I was like,
Yeah,
is this really
I was-
a time?
I have discussed dinosaurs right now.
Is this really a time to
I'd
discuss?
like to discuss dinosaurs.
They think that may have caused the extinction of the dinosaurs?
An alien plague landed and took out the dinosaurs in a day. Is I think what he said.
Yeah.
in
I
one
don't
day.
doubt that they died quick if there was like a big meteor impact that blocked out the sun and immediately burned a lot
But
of
it also
forests
had
and
a
stuff.
blob in it.
Is that
Apparently.
what he was getting
That's
at?
what he's saying. The
Oh,
blob
God.
was in that
What's
meteor.
your alright, dinosaurs. What's your favorite dinosaur?
Stegosaurus?
Terrible answer.
Ugh.
I knew nothing about the Velociraptor till Jurassic Park, and I like the Velociraptor.
That's a better answer.
Don't even
right.
say T-Rex.
No.
I was gonna
T-Rex
say.
is not my
He was
favorite.
just a scavenger.
The Ankylosaurus is pretty good too.
I like Brachiosaurus.
The big
He's
fat one?
Big. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a cow, like a giant cow.
He eats trees. I
Yeah, he
know.
does.
He's not cool, but he's
Sneezes.
big.
He sneezes on young hackers.
That's just a movie.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs weren't real.
Dinosaurs weren't real.
Did this part right
You
here?
said Stegosaurus. He had the smallest brain, just like you.
Yeah, exactly. We're alike in that way.
Like, Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus.
Did this part did it get anybody? The we see the garden tool massacre scene. You see the kids at the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're watching Garden Tool Massacre, but they don't actually show you the theater. It just cuts to this random couple making out.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking
It
about.
actually have fooled me. It was pretty nice how they did that, where
Oh, okay.
they put Garden Tool Massacre and you think that it's part of the
The
Blob.
movie,
Yeah.
and then it cuts down
Yes,
to them.
yes.
And then
okay.
it pulls back and you see, oh fuck, it's a movie screen. And then you see a guy in a hockey mask with a garden tool.
I thought they went like way off. I'm like, what the fuck
Movie
happened? to this?
No,
projection
I
guy
thought
going.
that was pretty good scene. We get the theater attack.
It drops in this. Well, first it gets the guy in the projection.
Yeah, the
booth.
projecting guy gets it.
Yeah, and then we get some shoddy stop motion.
Anybody wearing a bow tie is an asshole.
Can't disagree.
I have government is bad. Oh, this is when the government
Oh,
arrests.
yes.
The blob is crawling on the ceiling.
Do you think it would have been better if they would have got Paul Reiser?
Opposed to who?
The guy that they got. Don't make me call him the black guy.
The black guy.
Which
Black
black guy?
The guy who's in charge of the operation.
Oh! What's Paul Reiser from?
Aliens.
Mad about
Aliens.
Oh my god!
Jesus.
Just of space.
It's the same concept, right? Government trying to weaponize something from space.
How are you gonna weaponize the fucking blob?
I don't know, but the Russians are ahead of us in technology.
I'll tell you why. Because they had that one scientist guy in there saying that the projections of it eating, it's growing way quicker than we thought. And that guy's like,
Which
what will
is-
contain it anyways? And it's like, no, like it's going to be the size of Texas in a day if it keeps eating. He's like,
That
oh,
was
we're
a-
getting it anyway.
That was a Wilford Brimley thing from the thing, right? Where he's doing the calculations. Oh shit, this is growing
This
faster
is
than we
growing
thought.
fast.
Yeah.
Oh, the blob is not as good as it.
No.
No, I didn't say it
But
was.
it's still good.
Jesus.
No, I'm just saying. I thought about it in my head. And it's like,
Flag is.
I think he even calls himself out for being anti-authority or something like that.
Well, Brian and Meg are being transported, not guarded whatsoever. There's one driver transporting them into town.
shut up.
Basically, the government's quarantining this town. They're gonna kill everybody in town.
They don't care if they die. They're
Yeah.
expendable. Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I think it's called the blob.
Brian, with his homeless expertise, is able to pick the lock on the.
And here still, Shawnee Smith is like, I think.
My family's
Yeah,
back
and he's like, fucking cheerleaders.
there. That's what he said too, as he jumped.
Not
off the bat.
exactly like that, but he did say
It's
something,
a little
didn't he?
ridiculous because they both end up in the same place, and it probably would have been easier for him to just
Go with her.
go with her.
Instead of jumping out of the vehicle
And then
a
walking
la-
it down.
a la Annie.
But he does not find out about
Oh god, the
plot.
eavesdropping that takes place.
Yeah, he's listening on the
From
Russian
as far away
thing.
as he is, they
He's
would
not
have to
here.
be screaming at each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're wearing suits, aren't they?
Yeah. And they're very quietly like, yeah.
He's
I
got
don't,
that.
I don't agree with destroying the
He's got
entire
sonar
town.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. The theater attack's still going on. Meg runs to the theater to try to find her brother.
Mm.
The zipper from the beginning of the movie
Gets caught. Yeah, I like the.
plays a role.
What do they call that?
They escape into the
I don't
sewers.
Continuity.
Yes.
Stop motion kind of took me out. I don't know.
In the sewer with the cops that are down there eventually. One of them is Bill Moseley.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
saw
Are you-
that.
Are you
Mosley-
serious?
Yeah, Bill Mosley. was
We
one.
thought that and we're like, no, that's not him.
No, Bill
It was.
Mosley.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yet another role where you're like, what the fuck are you doing, Bill?
It's still more exciting than Silent Night, Deadly Night 3.
That's true.
And a happy new year. Durr.
Why couldn't the blob lift the sewer cap quicker?
I don't know.
Is it getting too big? It
I
can't
don't know
move as
the physics.
fast. Is it
That's
getting
it.
slower?
They've got to cut a hole in the house for it to get
Hey.
outside.
It's like, if Ben transformed into wet. Real quick, he did this.
That's the rate that this thing is growing.
Gee. White gold. I need to get him back for an episode.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I run into him at the grocery store every once in a while.
Do you fall over?
No, he's usually
He absorbs it, most of it.
he's usually picking up wine for Bridget.
Why?
If the listeners want to know, Pennsylvania just passed a law that they can sell wine and beer in the grocery stores here. Very exciting.
Yeah, I know all of you. Everyone who's
Loves
listening
it.
anywhere is like, yeah, so what?
Yeah, we've been able
Well,
to
we're
do
a
that
little
the whole
behind.
life. Yeah, we're Puritans here, and it's the Quakers in PA.
Okay, where are we?
Where are we?
We're in your basement, John.
Thank
You know
you.
what? You're gonna have to take this over because I think I missed the last 15 minutes of this movie.
Uh-oh.
What? This was your pick. You
So
should
as far
know
as
it.
Ben knows, the blob is still running loose.
Dinner was ready, and I didn't want to go back to the basement to watch this because it was cold down there.
Well, they get out of the sewer, but first the government tries to keep them down in the sewer.
Oh yeah.
They lock the manhole
Mhm.
so they can't get out.
Don't they get the snow machines running?
That's way later.
Okay, never mind.
Kevin Dillon's still stuck in the basement.
Sewer.
Sewer, not basement.
We're in the basement.
Does he ride?
We
his,
were just stuck down here.
Does he
That
ride
door is
his?
locked.
Does he ride his motorcycle in a loop in the sewer?
He doesn't ride it in a loop. He just kind of goes
So
up there.
he has a.
He doesn't
has
do a full, like,
He has a
flip.
career in the circus after this as one of those cage bubble motorcycle riders.
He doesn't have to work again because he's going to be the pharmacist's daughter, husband, son-in-law.
He's gonna live off that
Son-in-law,
pharmacist wealth.
Back in the 80s, that was huge.
No, it wasn't. It's huge now. It probably wasn't huge back
Guy's
then.
still in the
Well, he
business.
runs his own store too. So
Yeah,
Think
but
about that.
drugstores. Yeah, there was a small independent drugstore where we grew up, but it went out of business because big corporations like CVS and Walmart.
But it wasn't that way in the 80s.
What about Rite Aid?
I'm saying the future. You said he has to never work again because of this.
My future wife, Lisa.
Meg, you're tearing me apart. It's all meme with the Elon Musk rocket car dummy in the car that he sent into outer space, and it has a picture of Tommy Wiseau driving the car, and it says, "Oh, hello, Mars."
All right, so they explode their way out of the sewer, don't they? They blow their way out,
Some guy's got a gun
right?
to shoot the blob.
My last note is because the Russians are also in blob technology.
Yeah, they talked about that. We want to try to use this blob as a defense.
This is going to put
against
us
the
decades
Soviets.
ahead of the Russians. Wouldn't they have called them Soviets? Sorry.
I think they did say Soviets.
No, I don't think so.
They probably said both because continuity.
We just talked about how good the continuity was. Are you redacting that?
Yeah, I didn't talk about it. You talked about
The
it.
continuity wasn't good. It just threw it in your face the entire time.
But I like it
I
though
think
when they
overdid it.
when they do the zipper trick and then it does actually get caught.
In the
So
whole,
it makes sense.
No snow, no snow, no snow for years.
And then boom.
Everyone's
snow.
living off welfare in this town like Jaws because a great white comes to town.
Do you think this blob is going to help spruce up the economy?
I do. There are going to be giant blob T-shirts after this.
Are you kidding me?
Possible.
People go to Point Pleasant, West Virginia because a supposed Mothman brought down a bridge.
Ooh.
Are you telling me this
I want to
story?
be cursed too.
You telling me this story isn't going to draw visitors to this town?
Yeah, look at
this
you.
Is where the
You went
blob
ghost hunting on local stories, didn't you?
Yeah.
This hotel's haunted. Oh boy, they get you, you asshole.
What the fuck?
Nothing happened when
Did
you
you
were
say?
there, remember?
He's like, oh boy, did they get you?
They tricked them.
Yeah, was it haunted? Did
No,
anything creepy
here's what
happen?
happened. This old woman was like, she must have run the place, and she
Did
was,
they? Okay,
they
I was
let
gonna
us-
ask. I thought
they
you were
took us
just
to-
going into random old
No, no,
people's
no.
rooms, and this old lady was like,
There was
"John,
nobody. Oh, Jesus.
dip your bald head in oil and rub it all over my body."
No.
Seinfeld reference,
No.
where Elaine's listening. They're visiting old people,
Ew.
and Elaine has the old lady that she's supposed to spend time with. She has a goiter on her neck.
I don't know
She
if
talks
I
about
remember
dating
that
Gandhi.
episode. I don't know if I remember that episode.
She talks about dating Gandhi, and he used to dip his bald head in oil and rub it all over her body. Never mind.
Damn.
So,
You walked
What
in on an
happened
old
there?
lady.
yeah.
Yeah, the old lady was like, this place, nothing scary ever happens here. There hasn't been very many hauntings except for the time that the guy who was staying in this room thought he saw Jesus at the end of his bed, and Jesus was talking to him and telling him to do things. Other than that, there hasn't been much here.
I have to ask, were you a part of some society, some group?
Very
Or did you just say, that's an old building, can I ghost
No,
hunt
we
here?
talked to the woman beforehand. We got
Who's we?
myself and this other woman, Jen.
How old is Jen?
At the time, she was like 24.
What equipment were you using?
We were using a couple voice recorders,
Digital or
digital ones.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually went to Sears and bought an electromagnetic thingamajig.
Is that the dorkiest thing that ever happened in your life?
No, it's not even close. It might be top 10.
That's not even top 5. Sears. You went to Sears.
Yeah. I once bought a real cowboy hat because I had just seen Walk in the Line, or whatever the Johnny Cash movie is.
Walk the line.
Walk the Line, and I
Why'd
went
you
and
buy
bought
a cowboy hat because of that?
Because I was like, oh, he was so cool.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I want to punch you.
Did you start wearing a black suit?
This only went on for about 2 days. I'm like, I guess it wasn't as cool as I was.
That movie caused you within 24 hours to go out and buy a cowboy hat.
And then within 24 hours to never wear it again.
Did he wear a cowboy hat in that movie?
I don't even know if he did or not.
I don't think he did.
I was just like, well, country music, cowboy hat.
Was this right after you got punched by Moose?
This was shortly before that.
Oh yeah, the Moose Story goat ropers.
Yeah. So
Maybe if you had your hat on, you would have fit in
probably-
better.
Did you have
So-
Big Leg Chew in?
I had Big League Chew, and I dressed as close to Marty from Back to the Future 3 when he's pretending to be Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
I dressed as close to that as I could. Everybody was just in jeans and t-shirts because they're normal human beings, but I was like, fuck you, rednecks.
And you
I
went
got
in there
punched.
by yourself. You're lucky you survived.
I know.
And
There,
then get ready.
there had to be guns and rapists everywhere.
As Cobra will
Fact.
tell you, they'll show you what they do to cowboys around here.
Hmm.
They tie you to a tree and fuck you in the ass. Woo!
I'm glad I escaped.
Or
So
did
you.
I don't want to think about
So
it.
Or
there was
talk
only
about
2
it.
people in this paranormal society that you were a
No,
member
there
of.
was like 6 or
Why
7.
We
Why
didn't
did the other
name them.
4 to?
Because
5
we were the
didn't
2
show
people
up?
that talked directly to this woman
Okay.
a couple days
I thought he was
beforehand.
going to say talk directly to the ghosts. I was
Oh,
like,
shit.
oh my god, no.
So, how long did you spend in this place?
In this hotel?
Yeah.
About 4 hours.
What'd you find?
Not a goddamn thing.
Did
This
you?
wasn't the first time or the last time that we found nothing in a really deep
That's
place.
fascinating. You didn't find anything.
Nothing.
So,
Not a thing.
what were some of the questions you were asking into your?
Just, are you here? Can you hear us? What do you want? What is your name? Blah, 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 blah.
Did you have the proper technology to break down?
Mhm.
Okay.
I did. I
There's
listened
ways
to
to reach those.
almost
those
3
ways.
hours of
Silence.
silence.
Okay. Wow. That's 3 hours you're never getting back.
I know. That's why I don't do it anymore.
Does
Because ghosts are just like,
What was her
fuck
name?
you.
What was the girl's name?
Yeah.
Jen.
Does she still do this?
I don't know. I haven't seen her in, how old am I? 9 years.
Maybe the ghosts got.
I don't care.
So she was 24.
Mm,
How old were you?
21. Yeah. But,
You were chasing Jen, weren't you? You did it for a girl.
no.
Okay.
It was Jen's friend.
Yeah. I went after Jen's friend. I thought I could
Attaboy.
get to Jen's friend through Jen. And I was like, and I have to be in a ghost hunting squad to make this happen? This is fucking complicated.
You went long con.
Yeah. And it didn't
What?
pay off.
Ghosts? Yeah, baby, I believe in them.
That's right.
I went to a theater in Pittsburgh and they shut it down for us, and we walked around in there for about 3 hours.
Did you guys pay to do this?
No, they just let us in.
Oh, they wanted
Did they find
publicity.
anything?
We again found nothing, and a bunch of stuff had happened there. Like somebody had died on stage, somebody had fallen off a balcony.
Is this documented?
I don't know.
As a historian, I need actual like obituaries, proof,
I
stories
was-
from the paper,
Yeah.
I was
Where's your
drunk,
proof?
primary sources.
very drunk when
Oh.
I went to this place because it was nearing the end of giving a fuck.
You
And
were organically drunk.
I was, yeah,
Okay.
from the earth. And
Fear comes from the earth.
that's right.
It does.
And we weren't finding anything. It was neat to be in. I have a picture of me from there. I don't know where it is at this
Oh, no.
particular time.
Of course you don't.
No, it's just like somebody took a picture. I was down in the theater with all the seats cleared out, and it was like dark, and I was just
You were in
sitting
the
there.
pit.
Yeah, it was pretty neat to be in there, but there was no ghost. And then we got thrown out because somebody else who was organically drunk had found their way to the organ and started playing it.
Were they doing
Dun,
the Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah, they were just they were like "Brr, brr," which is obviously this person's never played an organ before.
So they said, "Get out."
They're
now.
like, well, if you guys are about done, if you want to wrap it up,
So how many of these tours did you go on?
a lot.
Did you ever see any evidence of an
I
afterlife?
told a story about it on one of the shows.
I don't remember.
I wasn't sure if it was a little girl or if it was a ghost.
The people are trying to set the blob on fire.
Oh, that
the
doesn't
military,
work,
and it's
It
not
grows.
working. It grows quick. And then Kevin Dillon, they blew their way out of the sewer. He runs to the guy's garage and gets the ice truck and brings it out because he remembers you need to freeze the blob. And he wrecks it.
And they're going to try and freeze it. And is this when she puts a bomb on something?
Where'd she get the bomb?
I don't know.
From
The
the
military's running around.
I don't
so-
even know that she has a bomb.
Yeah, she attaches it and she tries to dive over a truck, but she gets stuck on the truck. She gets hung up on it.
Oh yeah, that might have been before the ice truck got there.
Does Kevin Dillon leap over the Blob with his motorcycle?
I think so.
He drives around in the sewer for sure.
Yeah, he's got a career in circus after this.
Yeah, right. We already talked about that. I know what you're saying. Her leg gets caught in the
Yeah,
strap.
and he comes over and gets her off of it, and it blows up. And
Something.
I think that's it.
Does it
Yeah,
rain
it's frozen
cubes
at that
down?
point.
Frozen
Yeah, it
cubes
rains
and
frozen cubes down.
And then what? The military just scoops them up.
Yeah, and they're like, I
and goes
told
off
you
to
it was-
weaponize it.
They're gonna sell them on eBay.
And the guy goes, I told you it was gonna snow. That's it. And then it cuts to the preacher.
Who's got a piece of the blob?
And
Oh, and his little.
I don't know
in
if
his
he's
jar.
planning a sequel or
He's planning on raping it, probably.
yeah. He's like, God will give me a sign and I'll fuck that sign. All right. Who do you want to go with first? I'll go. I gave it a 6 because it was standard 80s stuff, which is always entertaining. But
Schlock?
yeah, it was just schlock. It was pretty much faithful to the original story, and the kills were really good. Like they were really good to look at. So I think the effects were excellent, except for the Blob. Anytime they did anything with stop motion or the Blob, it looked like shit.
Stop motion.
That was the
terrible.
worst. When it was over it looked best over the fucking phone booth when Jeffrey DeMoon was, his face was in it. Like, that looked the best. The Blob in his best form, yeah, like we said. It was a movie.
All right, Ben.
I'll go a little higher. I'll go to a 7 out of 10. I always call these things like comfort horror from the 80s. Like, it's not scary whatsoever. It's just, I mean, what they're trying to do. I don't know what you would call it. Like, it's kind of like The Fog. Like, it's not scary. It's just, I don't know. You can throw it on anytime.
It's just like
It's
a time
nostalgia.
filler.
It's
Yeah.
it was kind of PG-13 really, even though I think it was R. Don't know why.
Yeah, it was our.
But
For what?
yeah, that's
That
what I mean.
blood
Like,
scene
it's-
out of the sink, probably.
I
There was too
guess.
much of it.
even though today I hate like PG-13 horror, but back then, fun. Maybe it's because I was that age, trying to rent these things from Showtime or other mom pop video stores around town. I thought it had I liked all the character actors in it. I think that's what made the movie. They weren't nobodies. They weren't no names. The sheriff's awesome, Jeffrey DeMunn. They're all Frank Darabont staples. Like they all come back in his movies. I guess The Mist, Jeffrey DeMunn is in. Who else is in it? The Doctor, Jack Nance. I'm a big Twin Peaks fan, so anytime I can get Pete Martell in a movie, I'll watch it.
But I like it.
Yeah, it's just 80s schlock. It was a lot better than the shit that's out there now, I guess. I've never
agree.
seen the original. I don't know if it made me want to watch the original. I don't think so.
Okay, I would say like today, a movie like that you would throw out that was like the same kind of idea of like just basic bland entertainment would be like The Bye Bye Man versus
Whoa.
The Blob. The Blob is so much better. They were so much better at making just a throw it out there horror movie
What's
in
the
the
Bye
80s.
Bye Man?
It's some terrible
Fuck.
thing.
Is it on Netflix or something?
I think so.
It came out in theaters. It was
Isn't
based on I don't know if it's a creepypasta, but they
one of
left
those.
out every detail.
Like a
of the
Slender Man type
creepypasta.
thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of those movies
You say
around
bye
now.
bye and it shows up and
You
has
just
sex
say
with
bye
your
bye man,
finger.
and then if you think about it, it kills you.
There's another movie on Netflix, Mr. Hush or something like that. It was kind of reminded me of like a Slender Man type thing.
I'm a slender man. I'm only $1.28.
I don't know. Do you give Frank Darabont credit for this? Or
No,
do
you
you
give Chuck Russell
You
credit.
give Chuck Russell all the credit,
Yep.
even though anything Darabont touches is well worth watching.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't like The Mist.
You like The Mist?
Well, it was most of the CG, and I don't like, set film location in
That's
one
fine.
place. But
I think anything Frank Darabont does. Like, I think The Walking Dead was good up until he left, and
Didn't
then
he do like one of Stephen King's old stories in the 80s? He had like a 3-person thing.
Stephen King was a big fan of Darabont, and he sold a bunch of those dollar babies
Yep.
to Darabont. I'm not sure because he's done The Green Mile, Shawshank,
That's why he got a hold of
The
the
Mist.
other ones because of the dollar
and
baby thing.
I'm not sure what the first one would have been in the 80s.
It has to do with like a psychiatrist or something called.
Peter.
Yeah. Why you always play psychologist?
You're psycho.
Yeah,
All right.
7 out of 10. I don't know. I gave It Follows only an 8, and I loved It Follows.
Oh my god, if you say one more thing about It Falls, I'm gonna break this bottle over
I'll
your
go
head.
6.5 on this one.
Okay. Cobra?
I think it's a 6 also. It's above average. It was better than I expected it to be. The Blob in some scenes didn't look great, but all the other kills looked really good, and I liked it. The acid homeless guy looked good in the bed, and what's her name getting killed in the phone booth. And it was solid cheesy. There were mullets, a little humor here and there. The pharmacist thing was funny with the condoms. So I give it a 6 out of 10.
Cool. It's pretty unanimous considering that I really didn't like it that much and still gave it a 6. Alright, that's it for this episode. And what are we doing?
Thrill me. Well,
What
you
are-
can follow.
Yeah, you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/horrorcasting. We're on Twitter @horrorcasting. Email the show, horrorcastings@gmail.com. Sign us out.
Thrill me.